Hello, Jeff.
Here we are again.
What are you drinking?
I stopped drinking coffee like 3 months ago. It wasn't even like, oh my God, I'm drinking too much. I had to stop drinking coffee. It was just like, one morning I woke up and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And it just stopped. And that's how
I stopped drinking coffee too.
that's how things go for me. It's like, I don't try to push like something different usually. Like when it comes to this, like, it's just like, I do something until I've had enough of it and then I stop. And so what this is a new experiment of cacao and cinnamon and turmeric and coconut butter and a little bit of honey and dates. So the cacao is the base of it, and I just play with whatever ingredients are available wherever I am. So I don't like carry these things with me, but wherever I go, I just see what's possible with what exists, and I just create something.
How does it taste?
Incredible.
It's too childish. I taste it.
Okay, take two.
Hello, Jeff.
It's gonna be interesting for you to sync these two videos.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
I find myself snapping my fingers a lot more today than usual.
Because of the ETB.
Yeah. Do you do this all the time? All the time. How do you like remember to do this?
And usually when I'm not centered, I catch myself like half a day not centered, and I'm like, what's going on with my day? I'm not centered. That's what it is. It's just centered. And it's okay.
And you snap several times, more than the usual.
I snap like 10 times.
For what?
I have a lot of energetic tools. I didn't tell you about it.
Okay, I figured.
How is it working for you to snap? Like, what is it for
It
you
works. It works. At first, it was just an exercise. But the more I've done it, the more I can feel it experientially. Like, I sense what it's doing, not as a thought or a visualization, but as a real force. And it's part of the practicing a lot, and also being in spaces. There's times that I've been in spaces that I really literally, like when I'm dropping a grounding, like I feel it like growing out of me and like into the earth. There's times that happens. I mean, it's not every time, but there have been times when I've been extra connected.
Yeah, when I talk to Clinton, sometimes I feel like I need to make the thing wider, or when I'm talking in the space, the grounding cord wider, and it's helping me. Also, like the bubble, to make my bubble thicker is something that I'm experimenting a lot lately. It's like really helps me.
Yeah, I haven't really played with it that much. Like I practice seeing how it comes online. Like it comes usually for me from the back and like comes around like under my legs like this. But it's not I've not really worked with the thickness of it. I have a story that I have a very thick skin.
That's what I was gonna say. I was just gonna say that I'm like, I think I have more like thin skin than you. I'm a bit more sensitive to stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, I had this story, but lately I've been noticing I'm actually very sensitive.
You are sensitive.
Much more than I thought.
You are sensitive, but I don't know, it's like maybe an energetic level.
Yeah.
Emotionally, you're very sensitive. You're one of the more sensitive people I know. Maybe energetically, you have like a thicker skin.
Yeah, maybe. I'm laughing because one of the experiments that I was proposed was to interview people about exactly this. So
really,
you think you're interviewing me, but actually I'm interviewing you.
So Jeff, tell me about the immersion program.
Well,
just to be clear, because someone might be watching, you're doing the immersion programs with people, and I just met a bunch of your clients that were doing the immersion, and they had such a great feedback about it. They're like so pumped up, and they came to the ETB, and it really helped them even be in this space and introduce them to this work, possibility management. But I also found that your immersion programs are a lot about something special that you do. And what is it?
Yeah, it's. I think I've had this story for a long time that I have to become a trainer and I want to deliver this work. And I think I still am, pointing myself in that direction, but that's over there. And so I've started to look at what is now for me. Like what is it that I'm doing now, not what I'm going to do over there. And it's becoming clear through the feedback that what I'm passionate about is about relating and intimacy. And I as we talked about yesterday, I'm realizing that I had a story that this work was about intimacy and relating, and it's not. My work
possibility management is not about relating and intimacy.
Exactly. Possibility management is not about intimacy and relating.
Even though it includes several programs about that, but it's not what is the core of it.
Yeah, like I said yesterday, intimacy and relating are just tools to accomplish purpose, like conscious purpose. So and within possibility management, I love working with this tool. I had lost the reference point that this is a tool. It's not life. It's not the point of life. It's not the end goal.
Relating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a function and a tool that propels each of us to fulfill our purpose or the reason that we're here.
So for example, I come to your program and I learn how to relate more, how to use my feelings, for example, to communicate, which is something that doesn't happen a lot in modern culture. And like a lot of other things as well. So it's like, how does that help me?
Yeah, so I'll give you an example of my own life.
To figure out my life or something.
Yeah, I'll give you an example from my own life. I mean, fractally, like fractally, like in a meta way, I am living the example of what I'm talking about, which is that before I would be told all the time, very frequently, over and over again, that people didn't really know me. They felt they never really knew me. They didn't really. So yeah, people would say that they didn't know who I was. They never felt they knew me, and yeah, I mean, I didn't know who I was because I had no connection to my emotional body, really. So developing this connection allowed me to be able to communicate who I am and what I'm feeling, and this created the opportunity for people to get to know me, and then that opens a door for more connection, for more, like, for wanting to know more, and clients to want to come and work with me. So it's very meta, right? Because I help people with this, and this is what helps me help people with this.
Yeah. So
it's about being it. Like, it's about being the thing that you help people with. So for instance, psychologists are trained to help people with their mental health problems, but they never train their own mental health problems. They just sat in a chair in a school and learned techniques.
Exactly.
And they learn techniques like verbally. This is what you do, this is what you do, and they practiced on people. They learned by practicing on people. But how many of these people actually sat in the chair and received the work that they're delivering?
It's almost about, even if they did that and they have a psychologist of their own, the whole thing is like, it's not about the inner journey about yourself. Like, you can be a psychologist without transforming anything inside of you. you can come out of school, just stay with the method you learn and apply that method, because it's about the method. It's not about who you are.
Yeah. And it's not about, this is not a commentary on psychologists. It's a commentary on the psychology context, like the psychology culture, which is, you know, a subset of a bigger thing, right? Which is this, whatever, called, you know, like degree-based proficiency, degree-based like affirmation. Like, I have this paper, so that means I can do this. Versus, I've been through this, so I can do this.
And that's a big topic for you, because you went through med school and you graduated. And then you chose not to practice that and really go to the heart of what it means to take care of people's health. Yes.
And that's, you know, on my page I say I'm not a licensed anything, because I don't want to play that game. I don't want to, and for many reasons. One is I don't want to be able to hide behind a piece of paper that proves I can do something. And it's like, this way I force function myself to have to keep evolving and transforming in order to stay present with reality and be able to support from now, not from what I learned back then. And the second one is I don't want to be subject to any enforcing body, right?
What is that?
Like there's any degree or license has a body of a group of people that enforce the rules and the standards of whatever it is. And then if you don't do it right, then you lose your license, you lose your, you know, your accreditation. And this is like such a silly thing, you know?
It doesn't lead to more responsibility. It leads to just like more being a soldier of a system. And not like expanding the way you think about stuff and experimenting and researching.
And you know, there's the reality that, I mean, most of medicine is quite useless actually, but there are some pieces that are useful and necessary, like, you know, the emergency work, the trauma emergency, like heart attacks, strokes, like people need to take care of that. So there are people who give their life to help people in this way. Yeah, this can get very philosophical, but you know, for some people, I just want to say, like, it's not bad. It's not bad to do
it's
this.
not like a judgment.
It's just I noticed that for me, that my path was much more evolutionary than anything that would like cement me into a system, that would cement me into this is the way to do it.
Just to connect it to your clients and people that come to your programs. For example, I talked to some of your clients in the past that are like they're using that for like getting over addictions. For example, not like big addictions, but you know, like addictions. They're using that really to take care of their health in many ways, mental health and health. And how is this immersion? And in the context of relating, how does that affect stuff?
Well, I've worked with several people over the last few years that have had all kinds of different medical conditions, not addiction. I mean, everybody has some addiction, but you know, I'm talking about chronic pain, cancer, autoimmune disorders, and I've seen case after case of people getting better by learning to inter-navigate, by learning to recognize, you know, what is my body trying to tell me? Like, what's the message that my body is trying to deliver? Because the body is just an alarm system. The physical body is an alarm system. It is a warning you about something that's off about your life. So this was a great example. There was a woman who had this foot pain for a long time, like months. this pain. Like it got to the point she could barely walk because the pain was so bad. It was just like this pain. She couldn't figure out what it was. Went to the doctor. They didn't have an answer. And then, so it's like somehow she got connected to me because I also do the foot thing. So it was like really this funny thing. And I went to go meet her, and so we sit down. I said, okay, what can I help you with? What's going on? And the first thing she says is, I feel like I can't put my foot down. So I said, God, you're making this way too easy for me. Because in the first sentence, she already told me what the real problem is. So in English, in the US at least, putting your foot down means like drawing a line, like making a boundary, saying like no more, I'm putting my foot down.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So it was obvious what we needed to do. Like she's having trouble setting boundaries. She's having trouble letting her connecting with her conscious anger. So we did some anger practices, some anger work, some emotional healing about anger, and after an hour and a half, the foot pain was gone. Literally, months of pain, that crippling pain, gone.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing.
Okay, that's a like crazy example, and there are examples like this woman. She had a type of leukemia, like a white blood cell leukemia, which is about her, overproducing. It's a cancer, a blood cancer of overproducing white blood cells, which the white blood cells are like it's like the army of your body, right? So, okay, so she was coming to circles for a while and learning to open up. She's an older woman, and she's very guarded, but trying. And one day she just breaks down completely, and she says, "Oh my God, I just realized that I wake up every day preparing for war." Like she wakes up every day approaching life as if it was a war. Okay, so if you're at war, what are you doing? You're getting soldiers, right? You need soldiers. So that's what her body was doing, producing soldiers for the battle of her life every day. And
that's connected to the white cells.
The white blood cells.
The white blood cells.
Yeah. So and this thing keeps repeating itself over and over. Like this thing that the body is this alarms. Even when you have like an accident, you get in a car accident or something. Even that, that's not a chronic thing. Even that is an alarm about something in your life that you need to look at.
Yeah. The way people can engage with that is like, when you're distracted and just going around the house and bumping your leg in the chair.
Even that.
It's everyone knows that when you're not distracted and you're fully focused after half an hour meditation, it's not going to happen to you because you're going to walk more carefully. Yeah. So it's a lot of stuff like that. That's where it's going.
Yeah, there's a message in everything actually, in every step, in every move, and everything that doesn't go the way you wanted it, the way you were hoping. There's a message in all of it, and that's what I'm seeing that this possibility management work is really about, because this is magic, right? The ability to connect dots and to see the deeper, subtle messages and invitations. This is on the energetic level, right? This is when we say on the energetic level, what it means is like, what is the connection of this to everything else in the universe, and it is all connected. It's like, but can you see it? Can you remove enough of the self-doubt, self-criticism, blah blah blah? Can you remove enough of these
shadow world? Yeah,
enough of the mental protection to see the connection. Because if you can tap into that level, then you become a magician automatically, because then you can play with the energy. And when you can play with the energy, then you can change the world. Yeah.
So that's how it's connected to your purpose. Because you can use magic for this thing that you're not able to access normally.
Yeah. Yeah, relating is magic. Relating is a form of magic. Because when you can really connect with someone and become a team, then you've just exponentially increased the power of your influence on the universe. And obviously that can be used, there's light magic and there's dark magic, you know, there's bright magic and dark magic. So there's still the work of getting in connection with your bright prince, you know, your conscious purpose, but it is magic nonetheless, you know, at its core, because the more people you can get on a team to working together, the more sourcing power you have. Sorcery.
What do you mean by source power?
Sourcing power, which is sorcery, right? A sorcerer can make anything out of nothing, can call something in from nothing. Yeah. So when working with a team, we can source more because we have more knowledge, more resources, more creativity, more. And imagine if the whole world got on the same conscious team, then that's the ultimate, you know, it's like the going to the extreme of magic. We all get on the same team and we all choose to play on the conscious team. So and through relating with people who haven't tapped into this yet, you can spark their connection to their own magic, and then this team starts building. So when I work with clients, I always have this joke with them. It's like, I don't really care about your healing. What I care about is that you go to the next person, that you work with, you get your 10 people that you're gonna help, right? I have my 10 people, you have your 10 people, everybody has their 10 people.
It's not about only healing yourself.
No, it's not about healing yourself. It's not about healing yourself at all. It's not about that. The healing yourself is just a tool for the real reason for you being here.
Second? Yeah, still recording.
Same. So that's...
So the healing is the real reason for you being here?
No, it's not.
Okay.
The healing is just to open the pathway to why you are here. This is not about healing. It's not the end goal.
Because a lot of people, they come to these programs or they go to do Vipassana or something just to heal something, just to take care of a problem. And they think after I get this problem, I'm fine, I'm in the happy zone.
Yeah, and if that's what they want to do, then that's fine. It works. And there's still a gap between the reason your being came to this earth and what you're doing and who you're being. You know, there's a gap between who you really are and who you're being. And that gap is filled with something. There has to be something in that gap. So what people put in that gap is...
Oh, I love when you do this example.
You've heard this before?
Yeah.
I haven't.
That's great.
I haven't mentioned it in a long time. It came out of nowhere, actually. But yeah, it's like the gap is filled with tobacco, alcohol, marijuana, sex, porn, games.
The gap between where you are and what your purpose is.
Yeah.
Can you say it in your words again?
Well, it's who you really are, who you were meant to be in this world, and who you are being, right? So, like, let's say someone working at a marketing sales office, like calling, doing what is it called? Telemarketing, blah, 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 and living in a little box in the middle of nowhere and, drinking like 7-Eleven Coke ices every day. And every human being was meant to be a radiant source of creation. This person is clearly really far away. So that gap is huge. So, okay, yeah, what do? They drink, Coke ices and smoke cigarettes and, smoke weed and drink a lot of alcohol and like buy unnecessary things.
Yeah, just fill it with addictions.
Yeah,
any kind of addiction. Addiction can be like for violence, for sex, for fantasies, having like just a fantasy world.
Yeah, or even like negative self-talk and like just beating themselves up. It's also an addiction, and it is a treatment to like not feel the pain of how far away they are from their essence. You know, I know this firsthand. I was living a life that was, by all modern culture standards, was like the life. I was doing it, but it was not for me. It was not what I was, the life that I was meant to live. So as part of living this life, I was doing all of the socially appropriate harmful things, and drinking a lot, smoking a lot of weed, just trying to find women everywhere I went, like, you know, being in texting things with multiple women at the same time, you know, just like, you know, working out like crazy, which is also a form of addiction and self-abuse.
Yeah, it's like distracting yourself. Like, also what I know for me, it's like distracting myself in any way possible.
Yeah.
Even being in too many projects, being in too many, like just spreading my attention to all the time. Like, what can I do for my work? What is my career about? Like, just really spreading my attention everywhere, like in a chronic way. Just like.
Yeah, keeping all of the attention away from the most important thing, which is looking at myself. So anything to distract me from that. So addiction is not a problem, right? And he says it all the time. It's the solution. It's the solution to a problem. It's the treatment of something else. And for me, you know, it really comes down to this. It's to solve the gap.
So what do you do
to justify the gap?
What do you do with that? Okay, I recognize that I have this gap, and I mean, when I'm saying it now, it's not like that I'm over it. Like, I still have a gap in a certain way. I discover new layers of my gap. Let's say I close this gap, and then there's another layer that wait, I have that too.
Yeah, so it's a lifelong thing, and I mean, to acknowledge that it's already come so much closer to who you really are, because that is who you really are, actually. Someone who has this big gap in the moment that you have it and that you identify it.
So what do you do with it?
So, you know, what I was gonna say, before you rudely interrupted me, is that I remember, even, you know, I was talking about working out being an addiction also. I remember starting to get into yoga, like a vinyasa practice that I would go a few times a week, every week. And when I first started, it was still about the addiction. It was still about trying to be better than everybody else in the class and like becoming great at yoga so I could be something with yoga.
Yeah, just about yoga, a lot of people is also like keeping a practice, so something they can hold on to. Every morning I do this yoga and meditation because that's what keeps me straight.
Yeah. It's like I don't know what else to do with myself, so I'm just gonna go try to like move my body to figure it out. But yeah, it's like I would go to try to be better than everybody. However, what I didn't know is that I was walking into a trap. Like, and when I say a trap, like trapping this part of me that was trying to be better than everyone, because in yoga I have to breathe for an hour and sit with myself, really. Like that's what started happening, and this started opening up so many big questions about who am I, what am I doing, what is this all about, what do I really like to do, you know? And yoga was a huge doorway for me, actually. So yeah, we use a lot of these things to numb ourselves, and these are also huge doorways. Any practice where you have to sit and look at yourself, like really sit with yourself, these are big ones.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously the possibility teams and all these are more advanced, but the start is just anything that causes you to have to really look at yourself. So I did a Kundalini training last year, and
in India.
Yeah, in India, and there was one, these manuals, the handbook, and in one of the pages talking about how people start on a path, and I really like this framework. It says there's 3 ways that people get on the path to aligning more closely to who they really are. One is the pain gets so great that they have no choice. They feel like they have no other choice than to start shifting.
It's too painful for me to stay like this.
Yeah, it's too painful. The second is they're inspired by someone. They see someone living differently and get inspired.
Yeah. Definitely for me, like watching, like on YouTube even, people that I don't have anyone that does that next to me, and suddenly it was inspired to me and I wanted that.
Yeah, exactly. And the third one is that you just get a message from the universe, which does happen. I mean, it really happened for me, was the third one, getting a message from the universe, which was about delivering this message of barefoot, a different way of approaching foot health, which was, it's not about foot health. It was a much bigger conversation, but that was what I saw in that moment. So there's these 3 ways that people shift. Preferably, we don't have to use the first path. It would be great to not have to get to the point where it's so painful that something needs to shift. Although, for most, that's how it is for most people, because we put it off and we put it off and we put it off and put it off, and then the body, the physical body, being this alarm system, it says listen to the whispers, so you don't have to listen to the yells. If you listen to the whispers, you don't have to listen to the screams. It's like the body keeps getting louder and louder until either you do something about it or you die. Which, whatever, death is not the end. So, yeah, there's throughout this conversation, there's these invitations to just keep going down the philosophical path. But yeah, so this is
so like, especially for sensitive people, like the first path, like of this pain, it's almost like a path that they chose for themselves to be more sensitive, to have more part of this pain, but also have more of a channel to getting a calling from somewhere, from the universe, from just like random synchronicity, all these bright principles that we're talking about can send you a message, right?
Yeah, so this conversation is about what to do going forward, not about what has happened, right? You can easily take all of this that we're talking about and apply it to, oh my God, I should have this, I should have that. Whatever you did in the past led you exactly to this point. It's done.
It's over.
Goodbye. And yeah, emotional healing work, that's still about you moving forward now and using the stuff from the past to to open up new pathways and new golden keys and stuff. Mm-hmm. But this is about going forward. So okay, if you're sitting here, you're listening to this right now, okay, what can you do to start looking at yourself for no reason? Sit for 30 minutes and observe your thoughts. Get a group of people together and start asking to have each other give feedback to each other. So what can you do to start and you can bring this thing like, okay, what is the gap between who I really am in this world and who I'm being? And be honest. So be honest means don't I'm going to say it. Don't trust yourself. You ask people.
Thank you.
Ask people. Ask people to tell you, hey, how far away from my true self am I? Like, just ask this question. Yeah,
I would add to that, if who's around you right now is just your friends from childhood, maybe don't ask directly them because they can. But find the.
Well, I would find people who you think are actually living like this incredible life. You know, ask people who you see as role models of living differently. Ask them.
And they don't have to be the final role model. It's not that they're your gurus for life or something. It's just for your next step.
No, we all know somebody who's living radically different than the norm. We all know somebody. It could even
I'm just
be,
saying because
it could even be a homeless person. You'd be surprised how much clarity a homeless person has, because they're not clouded by, you know, all of the things that, you know, schedule and money and all these things. They're not. So you can ask them, and they might actually give you some really interesting answers. That might be your experiment. Like, go, not the homeless person that's like moping around. The homeless person that's just like, you can tell that they chose this for themselves, and this is how they want to live. Like, they don't want to live they don't want to do the career thing. Just ask them, say, hey, I have a question for you. How far away do you think I am from living the life that I want, that I really want? And just listen and take notes. You know, maybe put your recording, like a voice memo recording on your phone, and record what they say. You might get some interesting stuff from that. And then again, anybody that you see, like when you're walking around the world and you see somebody that you feel is somehow someone special, go up to them and ask them questions, like to give you feedback about where you're at.
Yeah, just to keep also this conversation, if you're there yet and you're looking for a team of people that's what they're doing, that's what they're up to, so you can join a possibility team like Jeff said. And you know, we have this in possibility management, we have this village group where hundreds of people around the world are there for that journey. So you can join a possibility team, and then you sit with like 3-4 people that don't really have agendas about you or something like that, and they're gonna give it to you real.
You know, instead of saying in possibility management we are doing this, it might be better to say in possibility management this is what's happening.
Yeah.
You know, because there's no we really. Like, there's just a bunch of people who are interested and excited, and what is it even? It's not a thing. It's not a. You know, until we move into a place in Antelope, Oregon, and I'll wear orange clothes. There's not a cult yet. Or go to an island and all drink some drink that makes us all die together.
Yeah, and that's a great example. Like, if Jeff was in my possibility team, or he is in my trainings and around me in my teams, but that's what he would say to me. Like, I would say something like that, and would like call me on my bullshit. So that's like an example of what you can get, like this pressure mirror to your self-reflection.
Yeah, it's something really challenging to have that. But
it's not in the comfort zone.
But it's so useful. I mean, it's painful, and that's where transformation happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what's your next challenge? What's your next step? The thing that you want to work with, where your path is leading you.
Right. Coming up is the next training space that I'm going to be participating in. So another 5 days of the intensity that we went through, maybe even more, who knows.
You did so many of those, you're crazy.
Well, this will be the lab number 4, ETB number 6 and lab number 4. I think I'm done with ETBs. I expand the boxes, I don't think I could do them anymore.
That's my second one, and
I mean, it's so cool. Like, there's really so much to dig deeper into every time.
I love that we're talking about it like this. We're not like a fan of that. We're like, that's so hard. I can't believe I did another one.
Yeah. Well, it's just, I think at some point it becomes just food for the gremlin. It's just like, yeah, I did 6. I'm just 7. Like, okay. Well, this one I was an organizer, so that's a different story. And the last one I was kind of that's the thing. I've become an organizer for these things. And one thing that was suggested to me was that, I don't have to facilitate all the time. I can have a group of people that I direct them and I organize for them and have other people facilitate. And that was like, oh, wait, not only can I was like, wow, I can do that. I have been doing that. Like this men's group that I have that's been going on for almost 2 years, we got together and did an ETB together. We got together and did a rage club together. And so I'm just thinking like, okay, yeah, why am I getting stuck in this thing that I have to be the space holder facilitator all the time? Instead, I can just be the liaison. Like we have this group and we're working together, and let's do this training together. Let's do this thing together. Instead of me being the trainer all the time, the
cool.
facilitator. I was like, wow, yeah. Like big exhale. That was it's cool. So one of the things, the question is, what am I going to work on? I'm going to work on more of this actually. Like, okay, how can I replace myself with other people and just be kind of like shepherding a group instead of being the one doing everything.
Yeah, because you're such a great at being a village weaver, like putting people together and do certain things, but you also have this game world builder, which are terms from possibility management, but it's like creating those game worlds that people can participate in. So it's almost like both of them together. It's like you're shepherding, you're weaving people together into a game world that they can participate in. It doesn't have to be you, the facilitator.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's that, and then wanting to.
I know that you're doing something for space holders that's up your alley.
Well, all of this is in the oven. None of it is like out and ready.
Yeah.
And not that means I can't. I don't want to talk about it. Just to say it's not like planned and happening. However, there is a space coming up that I planned. It's 8 weeks. It's called Trust.
Wait, if it came out already, it's down here.
Well, if it came out already, you're too late. But that's happening in 2 weeks, so probably not be out in time.
The next one is here.
But I know. But one of the cool things that I want to share about it is that I had this idea of making it I called it a gentle space for learning about the emotional body, where it's just a space to learn, not that you have to and transform. It's like I realize that there's so many people that could benefit from these distinctions and this clarity, and that they don't need to become transformation, evolutionary alchemists. They just regular people, moms and dads, and that can, not just moms and dads, but people like this that can really benefit from having new tools to connect with each other and to understand themselves and understand how to relate with others. And so I made the space for that. And after finishing this training, I realized that maybe I need to shift the context of it a little bit to do more of a magic school, like practicing magic, but that can also be done in a gentle, non-confrontational way. Like, hey, I've been developing these tools of how to become a magician, and I can share them with you, and I don't have to drill it. It's just like, here are the tools, and if you want to use them, cool, and if you don't, well, fine.
Yeah, just as an example, when I worked with you in the ETB, we did this exercise, and that's something that I'm missing, that I would actually want to work with you about, like creating, for example, this story, not a story necessarily, but declaring something, and having me really be engaged with what you're describing about this declaration about something. Really gets me to shift into that dimension where, for me now, more possibilities are happening and created doing that. So that's kind of the sort of magic. Because for me, it's like I'm trapped in my own story of how limited I am, and suddenly, somehow you create magic to give me more possibilities or more something else. And yeah, it's a great something to work on. So I'm happy that you're having this training.
Thank you. And more to come.
Yes. Right,
So
Jeff?
what are you working on? Because people are gonna watch this video and they also can get your next spaces.
Yeah, I'm working on something. I'm working on a few projects, but something that comes up is the movie that we're working on. It's a huge project, 2 years project, but it's really working on videography and movies is something that's close to my heart. So I'm like, it's new. Everything is new again for me. To do that from next culture perspective, to create a movie is different. So that's really exciting. And yeah, we look for people to be on our team about that. So if you want to produce a movie from a totally different space, you're welcome to join us. Yeah. Thank you for asking.
That's it? That's all you're working on?
Okay, so I have space holder training online and a bit of offline. And we're launching that with a team of space holders to empower people that want to be space holder for men's circles, for ceremonies, for women's circles, for like a lot of different kinds of work, being yoga facilitator, and a lot of emotional work, healing. So we bring these tools and distinctions from the work that we're doing to empower you as a space holder. So we're launching that next month, the space holder training. So there's probably going to be already a link here if anyone wants to get information about that. And rage clubs. I'm doing rage clubs. It's going to be probably my 10th or 11th rage club that I'm doing the next one. So yeah, rage club, empowering people to connect to their conscious anger like you talked about. A lot of great stuff like that.
All right. There's a table between us, so I guess all we can do is...
Thank you for this interview, Jeff, and keep seeing you around the world, flying here and flying.
Yeah, this is it for us for this round.
Yeah.
When I was yesterday, I was with Frank having an exercise, and just like he's nomadic also, and we're all nomadic, and it's really sad that there's these opportunities to connect very deeply and collaborate and create together, and we keep going in our different directions, and there's obviously a beautiful thing about that, but there's a big part of me that wants to try something different, to stop the running around and like get together and do something. So I just want to leave that here recorded.
Yeah, thank you. Alright folks, thanks for watching.